Good morning. Hey folks, what's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Got the live LBTS cam up right now and got some people out there enjoying themselves. Beautiful weather we have here. It's still not that hot, surprisingly, but I'm not here to do a weather report. But there is one kind of little thing, comparison I can see here. See how see how flat and calm that water is right there, just calm and flat. Well, that's kind of what we're looking at with the silver prices lately, just calm and flat, kind of strange. Don't think I've ever recalled seeing gold just skyrocket up like we have seen it, and silver kind of stay in this just sideways range. But we're really not here to discuss this. I just kind of wanted to, give you context of when this video was made and where the current prices are right now. 3,200, 3,205. And we've been as high as 3,400, as most of you guys know, and 3,230 with silver. We're in that 100 to 1 ratio. We've stayed there for a while. And again, another topic I want to talk about is ratios, but we'll get to that another day. Meanwhile, here we are. Here we sit, 100 to 1 ratio. Not much happening with silver. Gold doing all the work. And again, our average used to be 60 to 1, or not used to be. The average for the last 30 or 40 years is 60 to 1. So we're, again, 100 to 1. That surprises me. But gold's come down a little bit. It has tightened up that ratio. One or the other has to happen. Either silver has to go up to tighten the ratio, or gold has to come down. And we've talked about that many times, and obviously gold has come down. So that ratio is a little tighter than it was. All right, today's topic is something that I've really been wanting to talk about, and give me 1 second here, I'll blow that up for you a little bit, which is refining companies, and what's going on in refining companies. I don't see a lot of discussion about it, and a few odd things that I find odd. As a person that's been doing this, I think I started working for my father in 1977 part-time. I've been through the 80 market. So, I've bought and sold in millions and millions, countless millions of dollars worth of gold and silver. I've dealt with refining companies my whole life pretty much. And I'm going to share something with you, like I said, that kind of like an aha moment for me, like, wow, it's kind of weird. What is going on with refining companies? And by the way, this picture is by Grok. I tried to find actually a picture or a still of a large silver refining companies. Apparently it's like a national secret to get one. I couldn't find anything. So I just made this with Grok. Thank you, Grok. Thank you, X. And you can find me out on X as well. And I teased this issue recently on the X platform about something strange going on with the refiners out there. So let me get into that. I'm not going to leave that picture up there. I'm going to leave this one up because it is such a beautiful day out there, and we can all look at it while I'm talking. So, all right, here we go. For years and years, I've dealt with many different companies, but one of the best companies I've dealt with ever, and still to this day, is Metalor. And Metalor is I believe it's a multi-international conglomerate corporation of sorts, Swiss, Japanese, you name it. They have offices pretty much everywhere, Hong Kong, Hong Kong, Switzerland, United States. In fact, the company, Metalor that I deal with is Metalor USA in Massachusetts. And a little odd tidbit that's common knowledge out there is, you know what Massachusetts' largest export is? Well, it's gold. And you know why it's gold? Because of Metalor, and gold's so expensive. Strange fact. You'd think it would have been something, to do with electronics or something that Massachusetts makes. No, I'm not sure if that's still the truth, but the largest export is for Massachusetts is gold. And they're not a gold producing state. Well, they are kind of with Metalor. But anyway, to just give you the idea of what Metalor does, and again, this is not about Metalor, okay, but just some experiences and things they've shared with me, and also things I've seen out there. Metalor USA does not make coins or bars, all right? Coins or bars are made I think in their Swiss area. In Switzerland they make the bars, I believe, the Metalor bars and the silver bars, but they're not produced here in the United States. Metalor USA, when they refine their gold and silver, they turn them into products. And when I say products, probably 90% of what Metalor buys or gets in their refining company in Massachusetts is turned into electronic products or sponge, whatever that is, or again, some kind of industry-used products for gold and silver. oddly enough, people think, oh, well, they make bars. They really don't. No, they have other places that make bars. But they still buy gold and silver just like they would at a location that did make bars. All right. But I just wanted to kind of bring up that one fundamental difference that, where that metal's going, which I find odd as well, that metal is not being made into golden bars. It's made into industrial products. And maybe we'll get to that in a little bit. We'll jump down that rabbit hole. So here's the deal. I've been dealing with Metalor for great company. I'm not sharing anything that's like secret company knowledge or anything. This is pretty much out there. But not a lot of the public knows it. Only people that are in the industry would know this. All right. So Metalor, I've been selling them silver, and we put it in 55-gallon drums. Some of you have seen my videos. We get scrap silver, and we put it in coins and stuff like that, and bars and whatever, and we put them in 55-gallon drums, and we ship them to Metalor. All right, and they do armed pickups and all that stuff, like secure pickups and stuff, and we ship it to them, and they do our refining for us, and they tell us how many ounces we have when we're done. And it's usually, when I first started working with Metalor, it's a simple process. It would take, we'd send in 55-gallon drums of silver, and it would take them maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe not even a month though. You'd have your pretty much settlement. And that, I forget when we started doing that. However, I have noticed after 2020, and again, it has nothing to do, well, maybe a little bit to do with that whole thing, but all of a sudden, the lag times for silver started getting wider and wider and wider. And I can't get into specific dates, but over the last couple years, they've gone from they keep going up. Okay, a couple more weeks. It's going to take us longer to refine silver, a couple more weeks. Now, let me preface this with something that Metalor, will tell you themselves, and it's on, I believe, their website. They're not a major silver. They don't do major amount of silver. Their primary product is mostly gold. They do a major amount of gold at this USA and Massachusetts company. And they do a lot of silver, but they're not really geared up to do tons of silver. There are other companies out there, and I've spoke to another one as well. Actually, I think there's only one other LBMA rated company, maybe two, a couple in the United States. Someone will correct me down there in comments. But I have spoken to another LBMA rated silver bar maker out there, refiner, to talk about this stuff. But Metalor now is currently ceased taking in any silver, okay? And, that would make sense if you're getting huge amounts of silver in, all right? So you just cease taking silver in. And I have confirmed this with other LBMA refiner out there that, it's taking a lot longer to process silver. And again, the other LBMA folks I talked to were much larger in silver. They did much more silver than Metalor does. Again, Metalor is really big on gold, and again, industrial product when they produce it. The company I was talking to produces bars, LBMA bars and silver, and they were saying the same thing. While they're not, because they're a much bigger operation on silver, they're not as backed up as Metalor is, they're still a big backup, all right? And these guys they're working 3 shifts at Metalor from what I hear, and I'm sure that the other companies are working multiple shifts. Now that's a lot, folks. That's a lot of silver coming in, enough to close down Metalor after all these years for a short period of time, just too much silver, all right? And that's also a lot of, for the other company too as well. I'm sure they would attest to. That's a lot of silver that they've been taking in as well. Let me get a sip of coffee here. So, and it makes sense, you get too much silver in, but here's what I'm thinking is a couple things. Number one, primarily, why this huge influx of silver that has not abated at all the last couple years? In fact, it's just gotten more and more, and they're working double and triple shifts. Now, I get at one point after 2020, we did have a gold and silver bar run, in the United States where or silver bars and silver products, whatever it was, and the premiums were big, and there was a huge, influx of new product, and there was a lot of people buying, and the premiums were high. So I imagine that the refiners that were making bars were really, really busy at the time, and they had to, and again, mines were closed for a year because of the the critter 19 or whatever it is. The mines were closed for a year, or at least a year or two. So I mean, I can see how it was tough to get up and running, and there was probably some catch up to do there. However, even after the Critter 19 debacle and closures, there were they weren't that backed up still, even at that point, and there wasn't a need to be that backed up. I mean, think about it. Big deal. I mean, there was a big rush on silver in the United States by retail buyers, my customers, retail buyers. But what I do know is that I live in a small world. Retail buyers in the United States represents just a small fraction of Americans. I would bet you retail silver bar buyers might be 1% of 1%. I'm not even sure what percent, 0.5% of 1%, I don't know. I'm not going to go there, but that small. That's how small our market is. So, I mean, even though we were sucking up a lot of bars and product, we weren't sucking up a lot of silver, more than any normal, all right? So what confuses me, again, is silver prices haven't skyrocketed. I mean, we did see that rush a couple times, when retail buyers were buying silver, again, after the Critter, after the closures, and during the silver squeeze period. We did see premiums go up. We saw prices go up to about $35 an ounce. But was that enough to warrant, did we have enough supply after we kind of went through the silver squeeze thing? Yeah, there's plenty of supply out there. There's been plenty of retail supply of coin and silver bar out there since then. People have been buying it, but again, not flying off the shelves, and not a huge amount of world silver, was going into the retail silver market in the United States, okay? So what confuses me, again, is why the huge influx of silver into these refiners right now. One of the things that we do here is we buy, we buy a lot of scrap silver. We as I mentioned probably earlier, is we put it in 55-gallon drums, and you've seen some of my videos where we have scrap silver coins and bars, and mostly foreign coins and bars, and some hollowware and flatware we buy from estates and other pawn shops and dealers and stuff. But those 55-gallon drums, we went from doing many of them when we first started with Metalor to less and less, because generationally there's less silverware and flatware and silver jewelry being melted, so you don't see much of that like we used to. In fact, I'd say we see probably a third or less of that than we did 25 years ago. And so we're not seeing a lot of that come into people like myself and other people through the secondary silver market. We do see coinage, a lot of foreign coinage and stuff that people don't want coming in, but again, less and less of that as well. So scrap secondary refining coming from the retail end of it, from neighborhoods across the country, from towns and country, whatever, is just decrease. So if the scrap's not coming in, if it's not coming in from dealers, if it's not coming in from dealers nationwide that are buying from the public and buying bars and that kind of thing, or scrap and stuff, what's causing the backup with the refiners? What's causing the backup with Metalor? And what's causing the backup with the other major LBMA refiners in the United States that are working very, very hard to catch up, with silver for some reason? Where is this silver coming from? It's not coming from the secondary refining market. And there was a confusion with me on that, because I did ask some people in that industry, and they said, it is coming from the secondary guys. But I recently understood that the secondary refining market right now is not going to be comprised of your grandmother's candlesticks and flatware silver and, again, sterling jewelry and that kind of stuff. It's going to be mostly the excess inventory of coins and bars that is sitting out there from the last run that we had here in the U.S., retail coins and bars. And folks, that'll run out soon enough. So I also believe that besides that, maybe the larger influx of that type of scrap coming in, that's what they're seeing. They're not seeing, grandma's candlesticks coming in, the traditional stuff. They're just seeing an over stockage of retail U.S. coins and bars that aren't being bought, and they're sitting in dealers' inventories, or excess stuff that people are selling and dealers don't need it in their inventories. That's what we're seeing at refiners on the secondary market. And is that going to make them guys work 3 shifts? No, absolutely not. My thought here, and here's my major thought, is that there is a combination of them getting swamped with this local, this retail stuff, which will end at some point because it's very shallow amount of stuff out there. There's not a lot of excess retail coins and bars out there. And once that ends, they'll be back to still being backed up. And what are they backed up with? Well, and my belief here in the United States is they're backed up with mining, with silver refining and mining. And so that, I believe, is where we're seeing, my opinion. I cannot get a specific answer out of the refiners about this. They don't want to talk about their clients. I don't blame them. They don't want to give specifics for many different reasons too. However, the only source that I think that could clog up the refining process in the United States, especially the other refiner I was talking about, and Metalor even. Metalor, they still can handle a large amount of stuff, would be, again, mining stuff. And both companies fully acknowledge, the LBMA companies, Metalor and the other company. Again, don't mind me not saying the other company, but I didn't get permission to speak about them, and they didn't publicly release any of this information, so I'm not going to say it, unlike Metalor, who does. But the other company, they're backed up too. They're backed up big time, and and their companies all acknowledge that a good part of their stuff comes from mining. So why the sudden huge influx of mining stuff? And where are the mines in the United States? Well, not many silver mines, though they exist in the United States. The biggest silver mines are going to be probably coming out of Mexico, definitely out of Mexico, and Peru. I believe that there's also a transit route for Peru that comes up the United States. I think Metalor actually deals with Peru. That's assuming. I believe that's true. They did in the past, I think, just from what I've seen from people that are from Peru. But that's where most of the mining material comes from, is Central South America, the Mexico area. But again, there aren't a huge amount of silver and silver bars being sold out there, folks. There's not a big demand for retail silver bars. So why are they creating these silver bars? That's the really, here's the real question I'm getting into. Why are they producing these silver bars if there's no retail market for it? Why are they producing these retail silver bars if industry is really not increased with silver and industry seems to be stable? The solar market and all this other stuff that uses silver. They haven't really doubled or tripled their uses. Who's buying up all these silver bars? Well, I suspect that a lot of this, and here goes my conspiratorial view here, some of you might agree with this, I suspect that this silver that's been clogging up U.S. refiners for LBMA rated 1,000-ounce bars mostly is, and again, how else can you explain the delays and them working 3 shifts to get this stuff through? Lack of retail sales in silver, lack of industrial, major industrial use increasing in silver. Who's buying these 1,000-ounce bars? I challenge anyone to answer me, not challenge, but put in the comment section if you think you know. I'd love to know. It's kind of elusive to me until I get into my conspiratorial mode, which is I'm thinking that there are some paper concerns out there. There are some concerns with paper, or maybe it could be ETFs. Again, I'm kind of flying out there a little bit, blind. But the only people I think that could be taking that kind of silver bars and plugging up the refining companies is going to be the ETFs. It's going to be the people that hold paper silver, or maybe all those years we were told that 100 people own one piece of 100 ounces, or 1 ounce was owned by 100 different people. Maybe those are the concerns that are causing the refiners just to be completely backed up. But there's my whole thing, folks. I mean, that's it in a nutshell. I wanted to share this with you guys. And I certainly hope some of the smarter people than me out there are, your brains are kind of running and saying, and you can come up with a good solution about why that's happening. It's not going to retail sales. It's not going to industry per se, unless the numbers are completely screwed up we're being given. Where are those? Where is this backed up silver? And again, Metalor is closed right now. They're not taking any more silver for a couple months. The other company is going to pick up a lot of that slack, meanwhile, probably. And the LBMA, the other LBMA company, like I said, they're working full time, probably processing, mining silver, and again, the excess retail scrap, which will dry up after a little while. But it just doesn't make sense. Where is all that silver going? Again, my point, I don't want to be redundant. I just repeated myself twice there. But if you got any thoughts and ideas, let me know in the comment section below. I'd certainly love to hear that. And I really think that's about it. I just kind of wanted to share that. And again, it's an enigma to me. Where is that silver going? Why these places so backed up? Oh, one other point is that Metalor also, when they did refining for silver, they were serving kind of being a bank, because a lot of people that are buying silver right now, they have to either hedge it or they have to sell it outright, okay? And they need the money up front before the refining process gets done. Well, guess what, folks? All those secondary silver guys out there, whether they're selling coins and bars or whether they're selling grandma's candlesticks, the hedging just stopped with Metalor. The front money just stopped. I mean, there's a big lockup of money in product right now, folks, and trust me, I mean, Metalor is no small company. Again, the other company will pick most of that up, but my understanding is the other companies are not going to hedge for new companies, so there is going to be a lockup of funds with some big bullion dealers out there that are sitting on a bunch of silver and have no place to go with it as far as refining goes, because the refiners are backed up. And again, backed up because of why? That's the big question here, folks, why? All right, that's it, man. I'm going to leave you with that. Got any thoughts on that? Please make a comment in the comment section. Love to hear it. And here, let's do a refresh on spot prices here. We still at that 100 to 1 ratio thereabouts, 99 to 1. Yeah, tightening up a little bit, but not much. Still that 99 to 1. Great picture. Well, that's it, folks. This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. If you're looking to buy gold, silver, and platinum, give me a call anytime, and we can help you out. We're open 9 to 4 Mondays through Fridays, and we'll beat APMEX, SDJ, and big 800-pound gorillas out there, as well as the local guys, and we are a trusted source. Been around for a long time. Check our Google reviews. Again, that's it. Hoping to do some more videos, and to all you guys out there that have been sticking with me for these years, and I haven't done a lot of videos lately, in the comment section, thanks. I miss kind of my days where I was commenting back and forth. I haven't done as many videos as I have in the past, but I keep saying I hope to change that soon, but it looks like I'm getting a little more free time because of some new help I hired. Again, thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye now.